Okay, so the topic we're covering today, two-way tables. Okay, and this is it's very useful. Okay, so these are related to frequency tables. Okay, do you guys remember what a frequency table is? Okay, what does a frequency table look like? Okay, so for example, we could go around and we could survey people, and we can just ask a few questions. Okay, so we can ask. So imagine I'm going around collecting data. Okay, and then so we have the person, and then we're going to ask, what is your hair color? And what is your eye color? Okay? So, person one says, I have black hair, brown eyes. Okay? And then person two says, I have blonde hair and blue eyes. And person three says, I have blonde hair and green eyes. And person four says, I have brown hair and brown eyes. And so on and so forth. Okay? So we can imagine a bunch of data being collected like this, right? We go around, we ask, what's your hair color, what's your eye color, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So this is what the raw data looks like, right? We have every single person, okay? This would be our raw table with one line for each and every person. Okay? Now, we can summarize this with a frequency table. Okay, so this should be the review. So with a frequency table, we can make a frequency table for hair color. Okay, and what would the different rows be? Okay, I would have columns, and so what would each row say for a frequency table for hair color? So just one row would be blonde, another row would be what? Brown, black, okay, and any other hair color, right? Red, so I have blonde, brown, black, red, and we'll say other, okay? In case somebody, dyed it pink, right? Okay. and then, so this is the color of the hair over here, and then what do I have listed over here on the right side? The frequency, right? This is why it's called a frequency table. And then so we would say, oh, okay, we found 10 people with blonde hair, 20 people with brown hair, 15 people with black hair, 2 people with red hair, 1 person with other colored hair, okay? And there you go. There we have a frequency table. And if we wanted to, we could make a graphic display. What would our graphic display be? No, what is it called? It's called a bar chart. Okay, bar chart, if we wanted to. Okay, and then we could also make a frequency table for eye color. Okay, and it would be very similar, except we would have, brown eyes and blue eyes and green eyes and gray, it's how do everybody, different, how many different eye colors are there, you kind of have to draw some lines, and you just have to ask, what do you categorize your eye color as, and things like that, right? Okay, but we could do that. Okay, so let me just say for eye color, we will say the available eye colors are, you can have brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, and we'll say hazel and gray. Am I missing any eye colors there? Black? Do people have really? I always feel like it's just dark brown, right? Huh? Velvet? Gray? Well, I'll say, okay, so we'll say gray and velvet. I don't know. Okay. All right, we'll just say other. We'll throw everything else in other, okay? Okay. I don't, you might have dark brown eyes, but I don't think you have black eyes. Huh? Really? Really? People? I always feel like that shows up in like horror movies, right? When their eyes turn all black, you're like, oh, this is. Yeah. The pupil's black, but I think like I have really dark brown eyes, but they're still. Well, okay. Well, we'll just say there's other. Okay. If somebody says I don't have brown eyes, I have black eyes, then they can go under other. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, the other's always a catch-all for these things, right? Okay, because someone's always going to be unhappy that you didn't create enough categories to fit this thing. So anyway, okay. So this is, we've got a lot of these. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors of hair, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors for eyes. Okay, so a two-way table. We could imagine gathering lots and lots of data. Okay, and a two-way table will have the rows will go one way. So I'm going to just arbitrarily choose hair for the rows, okay? But if I wanted to do eye color for the rows, that would also be fine. But I'm going to say hair color this way, and then we're going to say eye color that way, okay? And then I would label each one the thing that I have, blonde, brown. So this example is getting more complicated than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. I think it'll be a good illustration, and then I'll use a simple version to do when we do the actual math and stuff like that, okay? Because I think we'll still get the picture. Okay, so you have blonde, brown, black, red, and other colored hair. And then for the columns, we're going to have brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, hazel, gray, and other. Okay, that's fine. I'm running out of room also, okay? And then it's customary to throw in a total column, okay? A total row and a total column. Okay, and then so what this does is, okay, so, we're not going to go through, but you'd say, okay, here is one person with black hair and brown eyes. So they would count in this box right here. And then you'd count how many people have black hair and brown eyes. And, okay, yeah, just I've only listed off 4 people, okay? But, in my frequency table, I said there's a total of 15 people with black hair. So there's probably, I would imagine, almost all 15 people who have black hair would have brown eyes, or no, you might have black hair and Hazel eyes? Hazel? Okay, sorry. So we'll just say, okay, so 15 people total with black hair, and then, okay, so how many of these people have brown eyes? How many people have blue, green, hazel, gray, and other? It has to add up to 15, but okay, so I'm going to just say 10 people have black hair and brown eyes, and maybe 2 people have black hair and green eyes, and 2 people have black hair and hazel eyes. 1 person has black hair and gray eyes, or something. Yes. Yeah, I didn't bother because I just knew it would get too complicated to try to put the numbers in here so everything adds up. So, but yes, if we did a frequency table, we would have counts over here. You are correct, okay? But I didn't bother filling this in. Okay, we can fill this in at the end if we want to. Okay, so I'm just making up numbers here. Okay, all right, and then so now we look at the people with brown hair. Okay, there's a total of 20 people with brown hair, and then we just have to say, okay, brown hair. How many people have brown eyes? I don't know. Just make up numbers here. Right, brown hair, and maybe 5, 4, 3. That's 7, 12. 5, 2, 1. Okay, I'm just making up numbers to add up to 20. Okay, yes. Yes. After I fill out all of these numbers. Yes. But it would be difficult. It's kind of difficult to say put numbers here, and then yeah. After we finish, we can do it. You're right. Absolutely right. Okay. So let's say, okay, people with blonde hair, maybe 1 has brown eyes, and 5 have blue eyes, and 3 have green eyes, and 1 have hazel, for a total of 10 people with, okay? And that with red hair, maybe 1 has green eyes and 1 have gray eyes. And then the person with other colored hair has maybe brown eyes. I don't know. Okay, I'm just making things up, all right? Okay, so now I can, all right, is this okay? I've just filled this out. This is a two-way table showing, okay, and I can ask, how many people have red hair and blue eyes? And you would say 0, right? 0 people have red hair and blue eyes. But I could say, how many people have black hair and hazel eyes? And you would say 2, right? Or how many people have gray eyes and brown hair? 2, okay. So we understand how to read this. It's very simple, okay? So this part is easy, in my opinion. Okay, so now, sorry, I guess if I touch the wire here, it fizzles. And then we can create the total columns here, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's 9 and 8 and 4 and 1. Okay, so I have 17, 9, 9, 8, 4, 1. Yeah, 48, right? Okay, and so you can imagine having 48 rows in this table or something like that. Okay, so this down here is a two-way table because there is 2 variables, right? We have hair color and eye color. So let me, bless you. I'm trying to teach my daughter when to say bless you. She doesn't quite get it. She says it when she sneezes. She says bless you. So county June 15th. All right. Okay. Is that good? I'm going to flip to the next page. All right. So here I'm going to just copy this thing. Okay. So here's an important thing. Two-way tables are used when there are two categorical variables. Okay? Categorical meaning when we ask each person, the answer that they give us is a category, not a number, right? When we ask, what is your eye color? They don't say 7. They say it's blue, okay? Height, on the other hand, would be numeric, right? If we say, what is your height? They don't just say tall. I mean, they could, but you would kind of just say, that's not what I was looking for. They should give you a number, okay? They ask, how many kids do you have? They should give you a number, okay? So those are numeric variables, but things like hair color and eye color are categorical because they don't respond with a number, okay? We are using numbers to keep track of how many we have, but the variable itself is not a number, it's a category, okay? So you just have to ask, how does each individual person answer? Each individual person answers with a category, not a number, therefore it's a categorical variable, okay? So we will not have two-way tables for any of those things that we had in the regression problems, okay? So the regression problems was always two numeric variables, right? The percentage obese and the percentage that exercise. Those are numbers when we look at the different states, okay? But if we looked at individual people, we could ask, do you exercise? Yes or no. Are you obese? Yes or no. Okay? And that will be categorical. Okay? But when we look at a state, we don't just say we don't say, is California obese or no? You can't answer that. You can only answer, as far as the state goes, you can only say this percent of the state is obese. The state you can't say, put in a category. So that's why when we looked at the states, we had numeric variables. But when we look at individual people, then we get categories. But let's do a little bit of work with our two-way table. Okay, so just these questions you already know how to answer, but I could just say, how many people have blonde hair? Okay, and the answer is 10. We just look at the total number of people with blonde hair, right? That's easy, okay? Now, and if this total column was not provided, you could make it yourself, right? You just add up the row, okay? All right, and then we could also ask, how many people have black hair and brown eyes? Okay, and the answer there is also easy, okay? We look at this number, black hair, brown eyes, and we say 10. Okay, so those questions are easy. Okay, but that's the first thing of using a two-way table, is being able to answer those questions. And I think we can answer these, right? And I can say, how many people have green eyes? And you'd say 9. Okay. Okay, so this is where the questions start getting a little, I guess, trickier or harder. Okay, and here we have to pay more careful attention. Okay, so I can say, what percentage of the people, what percent of the people, I'm going to write 3 questions, okay, that sound similar but are different, and we're going to go through all of them, okay? So what percent of the people have brown hair and green eyes? Okay. And another question that's similar but different. What percent of the people brown-haired people, or what percent of people with brown hair also have green eyes? Huh? It sounds the same, but they're different questions, okay? And then the last one, so this is why and we're going to spend some time going over this, okay? And what percent, I hope you guys can all read my handwriting here. What percent of people with green eyes also have brown hair? Okay? Yeah, so we'll use the calculator in a moment here, but I just want to make sure we're okay so far. Okay? So here it says, what percentage of the people have brown hair and green eyes? Okay, so the key here is of the people. Okay, so of the people means we're looking at total of 48 people. How many have brown hair and green eyes? 3, okay? And so here we're going to do 3 out of 48. Okay, so that's going to be, we're going to turn this into a fraction, and we do 3 divided by 48, and we get 0.0625, if I can do my math correctly, and so that'd be 6.25%. Okay, so if I do 3 divided by 48, I get 0.0625, and so that means 6.25%. Is that okay? So we're just, so what percentage of the people have brown hair and green eyes? Okay, so we're going to say 3 out of 48, and we do 3 divided by 48 in the calculator, and we get 0.0625, and so our answer is 6.25%. Okay, and the next question says, what percentage of people with brown hair also have green eyes? Okay, 3 over 20. Okay, so here, okay, we're looking at 20 people have brown hair. Okay, so we're going to say 3 out of 20. Okay, so the key here is what percent of people with, people with brown hair. Okay, so 3 out of 20. 3 divided by 20 gives us 0.15, 15%. Okay, so this topic I find some people pick up right away, and then other people struggle with it. So, if you picked it up right away, we're going to spend some time going over it, and I apologize if it comes across as boring, but I just want to get the other people who are struggling up to speed with you as well. Okay, so what percentage of people with green eyes also have brown hair? So we're still looking at the same people, right? There are 3 people with brown hair and green eyes, but now we're looking at these 9 people who have green eyes. There are a total of 9 people with green eyes total. So we're going to say 3 out of 9. So we do 3 divided by 9, and this gives us 0.33333333. Okay, so I'm going to just say 33, got to round off somewhere. I'm going to say 33.3%, okay? But the 3 keeps going on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so these are all similar sounding questions, but they're also very different. Uh-huh. Yeah. So what percentage of people with green eyes? How many people have green eyes? So we look at this and we see there are 9 people total with green eyes, right? So out of the 9 people with green eyes, how many also have brown hair? 3 of them, right? So the question is basically, I'm saying out of the people with green eyes, out of the 9 people with green eyes, how many have brown hair? 3. Or in other words, what percentage of people with green eyes also have brown hair? 3 out of 9, 33.3%. All right. Is this okay? Okay, and so these questions, they are similar sounding. They can also be written, just the wording can be changed up, okay? You can replace the word percentage with proportion, okay? Notice, what if I changed this instead of what percent? What if I ask how many people have brown hair and green eyes? How many people with brown hair also have green eyes? How many people with green eyes also have brown hair? Okay? The answer to all of those questions is just 3, right? If I said how many, the answer is just this number here, 3. How many people with brown hair also have green eyes? 3. How many people with green eyes also have brown hair? 3, okay? But the question changes when I say, what percentage of people with brown hair have green eyes? What percentage of people with green eyes have brown hair? Okay, that changes. Okay, why don't we take our short break here then?